Hello, my lovely little legends, and welcome back. So, today I actually have a scary video, and I am going to tell you why it's scary. I am going to tell you about 3 demonic encounters I've had, demon slash paranormal encounters I've had in my life. Now, if you've seen the childhood monsters, you would have known of SM, also known as Shadow Man. He, I believe, was responsible for 2 of these. Well, one I know he is responsible for because that's when I first met him. And the second one, I think, was him. Anyways, let's get on to the video. So, my first ever demon encounter had to have been when I was about 6 years old. At this time, I lived in a place, so I'll reveal where I kind of grew up. It was this little farmland in a small farm town called Tunis, Missouri. Tunis, Missouri. That's where I grew up. Almost every property was separated by a tree line. And by my Uncle Andy's house, yes, I have an uncle named Andy who lives on a farm. So basically all my family lived on this one stretch of road. This one stretch of road on 73 Highway in Missouri, US, we lived there. And it was basically family at every house. So my parents and I, we lived at the far end, near the end of the road that takes you towards the church, the fire station, and the post office. My uncle lived on the side that if you kept going about 15 miles, you'd be in Buffalo, Missouri, where I went to school for a bit. Now, one thing is that so this one night I was staying at my Aunt Wilma's house while my parents went and did something, and my mom came and got me at about 11 o'clock at night. Now, my Aunt Wilma no longer lives at this property. I do not know who lives at this property, but you have to go down a bit of a long driveway, and you have to go into the woods that are behind all of our houses. Anyways, there was this thick tree line between my Uncle Andy's house and my Aunt Wilma's house. So, my mother told 6-year-old me to get in the car, as it was running and waiting for me. So I got in the front passenger seat, little 6-year-old me, because we were just going down the road. We almost never get any other cars on that road, since no one really takes that route, unless trying to get to Camdenton from Buffalo or something like that. Anyways, so I get in the car. I'm sitting there messing around with the lights on the roof because I was bored and I was a little 6 years old, somewhere around there. And something caught my eye in the mirror. The mirror on the right passenger door. I looked in it and I saw the shadow of a man with red eyes. Like red spots for eyes. I, of course, looked through the back windshield. No one was there. But when I looked back in the mirror, he was standing there, staring right at me in the tree line. The tree line that faces my Uncle Andy's house. So, me being a little kid, of course, I was scared and anxious, and like every scared little anxious kid whenever they see something, I quickly got out of the car and booked it inside the house. And I said, Mama, there's a shadow of a man out in the mirror, but I can't find him, and I'm scared. She said, it's just your imagination. Get back in the car, I'll be there in a minute. Now, of course, we know a mom's minute, it's like an hour. And we were nearing midnight. So I carefully got in the car, locked all the doors, made sure all the windows were up because I was scared. Then I looked through the mirror again. He wasn't there. Looked around. Wasn't there. Looked at the mirror once more. And he was closer to the vehicle, still staring at me. Eventually, my mom got into the car. She knows I was scared. Said, "It's just your mind playing with you. You've been up late. Let's get you home." Because she figured it was because I'd never spent the night at my aunt's house before. And I always felt unsettled or being watched when at her house because it's just secluded by trees. And none of the other houses were like that. So I went home, got in my pajamas, laid in my bed. Now, we used to live in a trailer house. And my trailer house bedroom had like this big window with a big windowsill big enough for me to sit on and stand on and all that. So it was like a little stage. And it peered directly into the tree line of my house. The tree line on the far side of my family's property, on the complete other side where, not on the, so if you were to look at the house dead on, it would be on the right side near the old barn, instead of the side near my Uncle Andy's house. And so I was cuddled up, having issues sleeping. Went to sleep, woke up at about 12-ish o'clock. I knew it was about 12 o'clock because Chuggington came on again, and that didn't really come back on until late at night. It was at the time when we had cable, and I just memorized when a show came on. Anyways, so I was sitting there watching Chuggington, which is no longer on TV. Shame. And I heard something kind of like that. Now, we didn't have a cat, and we didn't really have a dog, so I didn't know what it was. Then I heard that sound a little more. Now, my bed was right underneath the window. Right underneath the window. So, being the kid I was, I looked out the window. And at that age, I regretted looking out the window at 12 at night. It was probably 12-ish, probably closer to 3, but I looked out the window, and there by the tree line, which is probably about 400 feet, don't know what that would be in meters off the top of my head, about 400 feet away from my window. That's quite the distance. I quickly ducked under and kept watching my show. The sound got closer, so I looked out the window again because I was a very curious child. And he was about, I want to say about roughly 200 to 300 feet from my window. Then I ducked down to my bed, and the sound only got closer and closer. So again, I looked out the window. He was about 200, 150 feet away from my window, so very close. And I just kept staring at him. I figured, if I stared at him, he won't move. You know, like some of those cat things you see on TikTok. So I just stared at him, just staring this shadow of a man down. And I kept watching, and the sound only got louder, even though he didn't come any closer. And so I just kept staring, and I watched as another head sprouted from his shoulders. If I remember, it kind of looked like a deer. Then another head sprouted from his other shoulder. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but I blinked, and he was right at my window. Not like an inch away. All of the eyes staring at me. And I screamed. I screamed at the top of my lungs. Somehow I didn't wake up my two baby sisters. Well, I don't think... Hang on. Okay. So I know one was born at the time. I don't know if the other one was, because she was born at the other end of the year. But keep in mind, this happened in 2012. I'm trying to remember it from like 11 years later. Okay, so if I remember correctly, I did have one baby sister at the time instead of 3. That year I had 2 baby sisters by the end of it. But this one baby sister, I remember she was in my parents' room. And I just ran to the other side of the trailer, because that's where their room was. I ran to their side of the trailer screaming. And screaming. They said, "What the heck is wrong with you? You alright?" I was like, "There's a man outside my window. There's a man outside my window. He grew multiple heads." And of course, they thought it was my imagination, but they figured, if she saw a man outside her window, might as well go check. So my dad got up, grabbed his flashlight, walked around the house, his exterior, looked underneath it, found nothing. My mom just cuddled me and was telling me, "It's alright." Then I said, "Mama, it's the same guy who I saw at Auntie Wilma's house." And she was like, "The same one?" I was like, "Yeah. I know I'm not faking it." She just looked at me and was like, "You need to get some sleep, kid. Your mind's playing tricks." And at that moment, I felt upset because I wasn't being believed. I saw something clear as day with my own eyes. But all I gotta tell you is, whenever I heard a sound outside my window ever again as a little kid, I never looked outside the window at night. That's when I was like, "Mama, can we please get curtains in my room? I want curtains. Can we please get curtains?" Thing is, that was strange for me to beg for curtains, because I loved waking up in the morning to watch the little rabbits that come out of the woods and run around our big yard and everything. Because she knew that's the first thing she'd catch me doing when I woke up in the morning. Watch the rabbits hop along. So she knew something was strange, but she never questioned it. As she told me, I was the child that made her quit questioning things. So that was story number 1 I have to tell you. And that demon who used to torment me all the time as a kid, Shadow Man, now who I call SM, he no longer scares me. Occasionally he does. Like, one night at this house, I caught my door, my closet door that's normally shut, open partially, because it was one of those slide doors. Like, it was open enough to stick a head through. And I woke up with scratches on my arms. And no, there was nothing near or on my bed that could have granted me those scratches. But I figured out I ticked him off and made him mad. So I reconciled with him, and now he just keeps me safe from the demons in this house, because we have an old Victoria-style house. So there's story 1. This was quite long, but I got 2 more tales to tell. And one has a witness to it, too. So story 2 takes place when I was in 7th grade, if I do remember correctly. So, let's see, I'm in 11th right now. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So it was about 5 years ago this happened. And so, the witness, who I will bring in the story, if you go down to my friends' channels, you'll see one icon with a blonde girl, Tori Baker Roadrunner. That is my older sister, who was babysitting me and my little sisters at the time when I only had 2 younger ones, when we lived in a house in Spring Hill, Louisiana. A little house literally a minute walk away from the Louisiana-Arkansas border. So, one time she brought her PlayStation into the living room so we could play on the bigger TV. She had my little sisters watching Hulu on her TV in her bedroom, which was basically like a closet that she turned into a bedroom. And me and her, we were playing games. This was about the time when she got me into Fortnite. So, can you believe it's been about 5 years since chapter 2? Anyways, so me and her were playing. She was teaching me some tricks on the game. And now, my parents were about a couple hours away from home. And we knew they would not be back till late. So it was about 9-ish o'clock. My little sisters were in my sister's room. We're going to call her Marie. That's her middle name. I will not disclose her first name. So, or we can call her T. So me and my older sister T, we were sitting in the living room playing Fortnite back when it was still chapter 2, season 1. So about 5 years ago. And I was sitting on the side of the couch closest to the kitchen, which with the layout of the house, it was open, no doors between the living room to dining room and dining room to kitchen. Like literally you could look down and you can see straight into the kitchen and office, which are connected, only separated by a breakfast bar. So we were playing, and I could have sworn clear as day I heard my mother holler my name. And I looked at T, I was like, "Did you hear that?" She's like, "Yes, I heard it. Stay right here and pretend like you didn't hear it." I was like, "T, why?" She's like, "We both know Mom isn't home, right?" I was like, "Yeah." "So that's not your mom hollering for you. That's not her." Now, one thing to keep in mind is she's my stepsister. She's my dad's biological child, but she accepts my mom as her mom too. All my older siblings do. Mainly because they're all taller than her. That's probably why they accept her. Anyways, so she just told me, pretend like you never heard it, and it won't get you. Now, I should mention my sister T is a medium, and at the time she had possessed dolls with her in her bedroom, which they were never an issue. So, we were just sitting there. And again, I heard my mom holler for me. And I know she's not home because I didn't see our black car in the driveway. And we'd know if they came home because our dogs would have started barking. Which, during this whole ordeal, the dogs didn't bark. They just stared into the kitchen because their kennels were were in the office by the wall that stares directly into the kitchen. Now, yes, at night we do put our dogs in the kennels because we don't have, like, beds for them, and they're the kind of dogs that they will literally run around the house, poop everywhere and all that. So, yeah. Our 2 dogs, which are fearless as heck, they just stared. They stared. Both staring at the kitchen. This big old dog, this little dog, they were both staring directly at the kitchen. And we were scared. We were scared. She said, "That is a sign saying, do not go into the kitchen. Do not." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." Because in Louisiana, it's courtesy to say that. Then, after a while, she went into the kitchen because we heard it again and it kept calling my name over and over. Just my name. My name. So she went into the kitchen and I literally told her, say, "Hey, who's ever asking for my little sister, F off!" And said that It's not allowed to have me. I'm not its property. I'm not its possession. And it has no right to attach to me or anyone in the house. And I was scared because I didn't know who she was talking to. I didn't know what she was seeing. Because I couldn't see who this was. Now, I will have to think, now looking back at it, it was probably Esim, because at that time he was still kind of active towards me, but mainly only in my dreams. And I, of course, didn't tell T about this, because I didn't need her doing some weird exorcism voodoo on me. So, yeah. It was scary, because I was hearing her cussing out and forbidding something that I couldn't see from attaching to me. And my little sister's never had issues with anything paranormal and stuff like that. So it tried to get me, seeing me as the most vulnerable one. Now, T, after that night, she kept a close eye on me. Then, after a few months, she stopped keeping a close eye on me. And I asked her, hey, a few months ago, what was that? She said, there was a demon trying to get you. It wanted you, and I told it was not allowed to. So it eventually went away when realizing that I wouldn't let it take you. And I was like, okay. Now, at the time, I didn't really know how to process that, but now I realize she most likely saved me from getting possessed or something. Which, you guys may not believe in paranormal, but these are things that have happened, and in this, I had a witness. And our dogs even witnessed it too. So, yeah. That was a scary night 5 years ago. Anyways, better start story 3. So, story 3 is one of the most recent encounters I've had to date. Now, a lot of you fans have known I live in North Dakota currently. So I live near this town of... I live near the Red River Valley, near the South Dakota, North Dakota border. I live in around the Red River Valley, and basically just cross the bridge and I'm in Minnesota. That's where I basically live. So, the most recent experience I've had in this house would have had to have been earlier this year, late last year. It's around then. Anyways, it's when my cousin Harley, I'm sure some of you remember her from a few live streams. So, my current bedroom is her old bedroom, and which is the basement bedroom, the basement guest bedroom, which I wish this bedroom had a closet door, which unfortunately due to water damage, we had to get the door removed, and it's taken my mom forever to get a new door. Anyways, I had a couple of paranormal experiences in this room. So the first time I was down here changing my littlest baby sister, who I will call Monkey. I was changing her because she was younger at the time. And so I was changing her, got her in some good clothes, and I was playing with her, sitting on my cousin's bed, which I am currently sitting on the same bed, staring directly at where I was playing with my little cousin, who's now my little sister. And I happened to have glanced at the closet that has no door. I glanced at it, and I saw this black figure. Like, I don't know what it was, but it was a black figure on all fours, crawling out from the top of the ceiling and just crawling over. I never picked up a child so quickly and bolted out of 2 rooms. I climbed up over 10 stairs so quickly. Never climbed up that many stairs that quickly in my life. I was genuinely scared because it even crawled on the roof out through the door that we had to go to. Now, that was one of the two experiences. Now, something that my cousin had even noted about Monkey is when we had a crib for her, which we had sold recently, my cousin said she would wake up in the middle of the night to Monkey sitting in her bed, actively babbling or talking in baby terms to something in her crib. My cousin saw nothing. There was nothing in the crib, no toys moving, just her child sitting upright and looking. And there were some nights where that child would not sleep because she didn't want to see something or something like that. But one thing I do know is my little baby sister, Monkey, is very sensitive to paranormal. That is one thing I could tell you. The second experience I've had in this room, well, not really the room, but the room right outside the door, which is the office, which come down the basement steps and you're immediately in the office. So this was before I transferred rooms again, and I went to the basement to go get something for my cousin, and no one was at the top of the stairs because they were all upstairs in the living room, and I was the only one down there. I was down there. Second I got to the bottom of the stairs, I kid you not, the basement door slammed shut, and I watched it slam shut. I was so scared. I quickly bolted up those stairs, shoved that door open as hard as I could, and I never went down there without someone with me until down here became my room area. I'm still scared to be in this room, honestly. I am still scared. And here recently, even though I've been in here for a few months now, I just now got my glass doll in here whose eyes are pushed in on accident and her eyes are just open pits. T had exercised the doll for me before, so I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, I'm just scared of this room. I have 3 crucifixes hanging up in my room. One by the closet where I saw that shadow figure come out of, one above my bed, and one on the other side of the room by the door. Now, the one by the door, it kept falling down. So I pinned it up real good here recently. Because you don't know true fear until you just look at a crucifix and it just falls. Just straight down falls. And I've never been so scared. That's why I always have some sort of light on in my room, whether it be my TV, my LED lights, or my lamp that lights up my room. My room is genuinely always dark, so I have a light on at all times. And my toy plush dog that I had for years, in my other room, I watched as its paw just moved off the ledge that I had it on. So I quickly fixed the paw, and ever since then, I've always put like sunglasses over its eyes because I'm always scared of those eyes. So yeah, it actually feels nice to get these events off my chest because I told my parents, they say I'm going crazy. Told my uncle, he said, remember, Jesus is with you, because my family is somewhat Christian. I was like, yes, I know he's with me, but it would really help if he was physically with me instead of spiritually, because I've had enough with spirits. But yeah, my bed where I'm currently staying right now is in the middle of this like protection triangle of my crucifixes. Now, 2 are actually just crosses, and the one by my closet door is an actual crucifix. So, yeah. It's been a very freakish time. And occasionally at like school or at home, I would see like random shadow figures. Like I'd just stare somewhere, like at school or something, and I'd see shadow figures. I don't tell anyone about these because I don't want to get listed as the school crazy kid or the mentally insane kid at school. Because it's bad. I'm already getting bullied. I don't need to feel the fire more. So, yeah. That's it. That's all the paranormal experiences I can remember up to date. So, yeah. So, I hoped you guys enjoyed these 3 stories of paranormal experiences that have happened to me. One when I was 5, so about 10-ish, 12 years ago. I can't believe it's been over a decade since my first paranormal encounter. One when I was in 7th grade, so near about 5-6 years ago, and one a few months ago. Well, a few months ago. So yeah, those are my experiences. Let me know, like, what are some of your personal paranormal experiences? And, like, yeah, just like, if you have a personal paranormal experience or experience that science cannot explain, let me know. Because I'd be interested in reading more spooky, scary stories, even though it is literally 6 at night right now as I'm recording it. It's 6:05. Probably not going to be posted until about 7 by the time this thing exports. And I'm usually up till about 12, 3 in the morning. Because I have the work schedule. Actually, I have the sleep schedule of Rainbow Factory AU Wally, and that ain't no joke. Another reason why he's more of my comfort character. He's starting to become a relatable character, but I already have a relatable character. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed me venting about some of my personal experiences in the paranormal realm. And I hope you guys have a good one. Bye!